She's so
Go.
bossy. Okay, our next speaker tonight is Mr. Larry Johnson from Lake Worth Water Utilities. And he is here tonight to talk about a pilot program slated for College Park in which radio read transmitters may be put in some of our water meters. Mostly what I hope Mr. Johnson is able to get across very clearly tonight is that these are not the smart meters some of you have heard horror stories about, whether they're true or not. It's a whole different thing. So I'm going to let Mr. Johnson start speaking to you. I have a letter that he's written. The letter will be sent out tomorrow to everybody on the website, but in the meantime, those of you here tonight will have a copy of it. Thank you, Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. And good evening. I'm Larry Johnson, again, Water Utilities Director with the City of Lake Worth. And I wanted to explain a couple of things. I'll start out with the radio read meters and then also talk about some of the other things that we're doing that are related to those meters. I'll start out with this while we're at it, is that one of the reasons for working on the radio read meters is that we are concerned about, and we have had many complaints and problems related to the 2-inch steel water lines that feed many homes in the College Park area as well as in other parts of the city. And one of the things that we are working with, and in fact we've had 2 different commission meetings, the last one being March 25th, I believe, and basically talking about the need to replace the 2-inch steel water lines. And the reason for that, and I'll pass this sample around, but this is just one sample of a steel line that feeds residential homes throughout the city. And they do have corrosion on the inside as well as on the outside of the piping. And yeah, if you can just pass those around. I would use the paper just so it doesn't scratch you or whatever. But what we find is that something like 70% of the leaks that occurred within the city as far as water leaks were in this kind of 2-inch pipe. And in the case of that little sample is that when it was cut out, we cut it out because of a leak, but we actually found a second leak that we didn't know about at the time that we pulled it out. And when you put that kind of pipe even in a vise, the vise can crack the pipe. It has that much corrosion in it. So it's basically that's why it causes so many breaks within the system. So what we are trying to do is to replace this piping with 4-inch water piping, which will be done over a period of years, but in an effort to provide both better pressure, better flow, and then also better water quality for the residents in those areas. The commission is considering that. There is another meeting scheduled for April 22nd, where the commission will further discuss that as far as funding mechanisms for being able to pay for that kind of replacement. And it does address, there has been some replacement that was done several years ago based on by the internal crews, but then in addition to that, this will be done by contractor as far as for the remaining work that needs to be done. So that's just an overview of that. One of the reasons why we're pursuing the radio read water meters is that as the gentleman from Mears said, is that, you know, you still have a lot of water services that are in the back of your properties. Your water meters are in the back of your properties, as well as gas meters, et cetera. So we have a similar issue for the water meters as they talked about. And because they're in the backyard, and because you really don't have alleys in many cases in this area, is that it's difficult for the meter readers to get access to the back of the properties. They have to you know, either contact the owners, or in some cases they have special locks, city locks, that are on you know, on the owner's property, so that they can get access to the back of those properties. So over time, we would like to be able to essentially replace the existing manual meters that are in the back of the properties where we do not have access with what we call radio read water meters. And the purpose of that is once the meter or the radio read meter is installed, then our meter readers can essentially you know, read the meter from the front of the property, or in some cases even by driving by the property. And it both speeds it up, plus it is much more accurate, we find, than you know, having to read the meter manually, particularly in some of the cases where you know, it's difficult to get access, you know, to those meters. So that's really our purpose behind it, is to improve the accuracy of the meter, and also to make it less of an effect on the customer over the long term. What we're doing is we sent out a letter dated April 10th. Yes, ma'am.
I have a lot of concrete back by where the meter is at. Are they going to have to tear up that concrete in order to do a new line for what you're talking about?
No, in this case, the radio read meter will be installed in the same meter box as is currently there. So it's not, we will not be replacing the line at this point in time.
So a man comes down the road and he has some sort of gadget that can zoom into it, that's behind your house, and get
Well,
a reading?
it has a very low powered radio transmitter as part of that radio read device. And so it just provides a radio signal out, which someone can read, you know, with a,
How much you've used?
yeah, how much
Okay.
you've used.
Thank you.
Will this RF type setup be similar to what some of us have with our water meters? Or I mean our electric meters?
Yes. In fact, one of the things that we're doing, we're coordinating very closely with the electric company, and we're using the same manufacturer for the radio read device as what the electric folks use,
Those work
so
well.
that they can use the
That's
same device.
That's scary, you know, because a lot of people have had fires because of those. Well, you know, the meters with the electric company, now you're saying you're gonna work together with the electric company on these kind of meters, and I have a friend whose house burned down because the meter got on fire.
The meter or the circuit breaker?
No, it was the meter.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, well, again, we're not, you know, I'm not addressing the electric meter program as far as the radio read devices on this, but the devices that we're using, again, it's by the same manufacturer as what the electric company uses, so that essentially we can use the same device to collect the electric meter reading as well as the water meter reading, because you know, we do both at the same time as we're going, whether we do it manually or whether we do it with these radio reads. So the program right now, it is a, you know, it's going to be a gradual program. We're